Parliament was enjoying sanitary. But during the working of the Parliament, 18 bills were passed. But throughout except for one day, the Parliament was not allowed to function. The opposition came to the well of the House. It was regarding Pegasus. It was regarding Farmers' Bill, regarding many others. Because we were asking to allow discussion in the Parliament. We have seen that this government doesn't respect the opposition at all. And that's how they didn't allow discussion. And that was the reason the Parliament was disturbed throughout. Many people are of the opinion it is wrong on the part of opposition not to allow Parliament to function. Of late, some years back, whenever a new bill was brought, and in case any clause was not agreed upon, and that would normally the opposition would highlight, the bills were referred to select committee. And then after discussion, maybe there was some change in the clause, or the government would explain what is the benefit of that particular clause. And that's how the Parliament would function. But nowadays, whatever the opposition tries to do, whether they disturb, whether they come to the well of the House, opposition is considered like a voice in the wilderness. Nobody cares. Only the government is right. And that is the reason opposition was of the opinion that highlighting the negative points of the bill doesn't help. So instead, we have to make it known to the country that this government is against democracy. They are massacring democracy. They only think what they do is right. So many farmers have died, and they are sitting there for the last 9 months opposing these 3 draconian bills that have been brought, which are against the people's wishes. But nothing has happened. So that is the reason opposition decided no point in discussing, but we have to highlight to the country that now the petrol prices, they are touching 100. You see in the neighborhood, you see Nepal, that the petrol goes from India. You see Bangladesh, you see Sri Lanka, is around 55 rupees. And we boast to be the fathers of all these neighboring areas, and it is around 100 rupees. The government forgets that today everything depends or revolves around fuel prices. And that's why the prices of commodities, they are increasing leaps and bounds, but the government has closed their eyes. Now some important bills have been passed in this Parliament. Around 17, 18 bills, different types. But the most important bill, that is the Constitution 127 Amendment Bill 2021. This was there. The states had no powers. But this came up in the Supreme Court because of the Maratha bill that was brought in Maharashtra. Now the state has powers to declare their own OBCs, and I'm happy. We tried for so many years in order to include our Dangar community in scheduled tribe. We didn't succeed, depending with Government of India. If you see our scheduled caste communities which are there, you will not disagree with me that most needed community is Dangar. But so far they are included. So I want to bring to the notice of the government, you all are lucky that this bill has been passed and you are in a position to declare Dangars as fourth or scheduled tribe, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Do it immediately. And these Dangars, which are really socially and economically backward, educationally, economically, let them enjoy the benefits of this scheduled tribe as early as possible. The third thing is, the other day, the Bhumiputra was passed in the assembly. You must have read papers. The locals are totally against, because so many things are pending here. Our munkars, tenancy, so many cases are pending, and every second day this is adjourned in our maybe collector's court, deputy collector's court. This government should be proud of all these adjournments. They should tell their officers that this should be solved as early as possible. And as I said last time, the Bhumiputra bill, any illegal houses in the property of others, which people are objecting, and as I said, it is lying in these government courts, being adjourned every second day. All these illegal constructions should be demolished. The constructions in Kumdad, you should pay Kumdad money and legalize them. After levying a small fine, because up to now they have not paid to the Panchayat, still they are continuing their occupying. Other people who do legally, they have to pay the fees. They have not. And same thing in the government. Whatever construction are there in the government lands, you put a fine, levy a fine, and regularize them for them. And I said, restart that 20-point program which Congress government had, and acquire and give plots first to the sons of the soil and also others. The next thing is, recently I've read that tap of water in Goa contains potentially hazardous microplastics. It's not new. I know people in Kanakana were suffering from kidney problems because of the water, some of the dissolved hazardous chemicals in water. So they appointed like a committee of doctors to go into this. So now these plastics and all that has gone even in the tap waters. I want to request the government to open the eyes and see that this tap water which people are using, it should not carry along with it all these diseases and sicknesses. So tap water should be as pure as possible. One thing I came to know just the other day, that government aided school teachers, their pays are not on time, and many of them has taken loans from banks. They have to pay for their housing loans. If they pay, they get after 3-4 months, automatically the amount they have to pay in the bank, they have to pay with interest. I think last time they came on the roads. If government teachers are paid on time, why not teachers in the aided schools? So I request the Education Minister and whoever the Secretary of Education kindly to see that in future all the aided school teachers are paid on time so that they don't have to pay the fine in the banks from their pocket. Automatically let this go as usual. And once again, I want to request the government to open the eyes as far as those pending 3 projects are concerned. Double rail, maybe other electricity, all these things, they have to open the eyes, send a letter to Government of India showing them or bringing to their notice that this government is against. Recently, the port bill that was passed, there are 6 major ports, this bill applies to them, but in Goa, we didn't know the jurisdiction. Some of them have been given more powers instead of that earlier chairman who was there. Now they have got powers to do many things. Maybe earlier they had to refer to Government of India. But we don't want their jurisdiction to go beyond the port. I request the Chief Minister, please, I don't know if you have passed in the assembly, even otherwise you have a meeting, joint meeting of all these parties, and let us object to this. GOA is not for sale. Beyond their jurisdiction, we don't want both authorities to have any powers. Let the port be with them, let them develop the port up to a certain area, not beyond that. So I urge upon the Chief Minister to send a letter to Government of India. Please send a copy to MPs so that we can pursue. And in addition to that, ask for a joint all-party meeting with the Prime Minister. So we bring to their notice that this is not in the interest of the state, as the state is a small state. Any question?
What are the 3 bills?